Hey guys, it's your pal Victor here from Cult Classics, and we've got movie reviews for you. And right now, we're gonna have a review of the new Paramount Plus exclusive Infinite, starring Mark Wahlberg, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Jason Mantzoukas, and others. And that's coming up right now. So, we actually saw this movie a long time ago. By we, I mean the royal we. I saw this movie quite some time ago, and, you know, they've been tweaking it for a while, and it didn't really change all that much. And basically, it stars Mark Wahlberg. He's this guy named Evan Michaels, and we pick up with his life after an interesting intro with shades of Highlander, and that's kind of what this movie should be called, Shades of Highlander. It turns out that Evan Michaels, he's like a guy who we meet up with him in this kind of like drug deal scenario. Just happens to know a little bit of everything about everything. He's a schizophrenic. He needs to get his these drugs to control, you know, his episodes, because he had like a brain injury and it's kind of affected the course of his life. And it goes without saying, so much spoilers, that this, you know, scenario with his schizophrenia is kind of what is kind of crucial to this point. You see, there's this whole group of people who are much like Highlanders, who whenever they die, they get reincarnated in new bodies and keep all their knowledge and such. And Mark Wahlberg kind of thinks it's believed by one of these organizations that he's the chosen one of their tribe, as it were. He's tried to keep this doomsday machine from getting built, and there's a vital last missing part, and nobody knows where it is except Mark Wahlberg, but he's amnesiac about most of his life. So this organization that has some really, you know, interesting actors in it. Wallis is in it, Liz Carr, and, you know, they're trying to jog his memory to get him back into a place where he can actualize his infinite life. And there's an alternate group that's led by Chiwetel Ejiofor, literally chewing the scenery as the most villainous villain you can think of. And I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. I loved him in as you know, the operative in Serenity, and, you know, dude, he is chewing the scenery hardcore in this movie to a point where it's not very much believable. But yeah, that's the basic gist of the movie. Evil Highlanders trying to kill good Highlanders, who reincarnates. It's kind of like the old guard, although this was in production at the same time, so it's not ripping it off. It's directed by Anton Fuqua, who did Olympus Has Fallen and Training Day. So the stunt sequences are cool. There's a lot of those. But man, like, Mark Wahlberg can't carry a franchise like this. That's not being mean. That's just being true. He just like, what are you talking about? Kind of shit that just, you know, the movie's so predictable that you're just kind of groaning at this character. And for the most part, the movie's really predictable. Like I said, there's this part where, like, you find out the location where this doomsday party is. It's so cheesy, you can't even believe it. And it's very bizarre, seeing the character in this prologue sequence, seeing the character that Mark Wahlberg is supposed to be. It's just, it doesn't follow, you know. And I'm not spoiling the movie. There's a lot going on here I'm not really touching on. But also, like, it's always weird when you get to a movie and, like, Jason Mantzoukas, of all people, is the best part of it. I love Jason Mantzoukas, but he's the best part of this movie, and it's very odd. And yeah, I mean, Toby Jones is in it. He's got a cool part, but, you know, you're not watching this movie for Toby Jones. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like this was meant to kind of launch a franchise, and it just, it doesn't work. This is one of those dumb fun movies, like, you know, like Olympus Has Fallen. You just have in the background, like, oh, that's cool, and then do whatever else is you're doing. So in that respect, it's perfect for a streaming service. This, clearly the budget here was not for a streaming service, but you know, maybe this will help for Paramount getting more people to sign up for it. But all that being said, it's a dumb fun movie. I mean, yeah, I'd give it like 2 stars, but you know, it's one of those things like you would see this on TNT or TBS like 15 times a day back in the 90s. That's kind of what it feels like. If you want to see a movie like this, watch Highlander or even The Old Guard. The Old Guard is like a much more serious version of this with a much more compelling lead in Charlize. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Infinite. Available this weekend on Paramount Plus. More reviews at Cult Classics.